Hello my friends and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, a little update from the southern front where it seems the battles are a little bit more intensified than the rest of the front, according to the Ukrainians. And this article comes from Ukrinform from today, the 8th of November 2022. Ukraine's Air Force hits enemy positions 8 times in south. In southern Bukh direction, the Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine launched 8 strikes on enemy positions, including 4 on air defense systems over the past day. The operational situation in our area, I'm quoting, of responsibility remains difficult but controlled by the defense forces. There were no significant changes in southern Bukh operational area. The enemy continues defensive operations and tries to hold the occupied lines, end quote, the Operational Command South posted. The enemy shells the Ukrainian positions, adjacent territorial communities and remote rear areas, terrorizing the civilian population. You know, that's always always happening because the Russians are killing only civilians. The fights of about 100 UAVs, which clarified the positions of Ukrainian troops and adjust artillery fire, were recorded. 100. Why did I say 50? the flights of about 100. And I'm quoting, in Mykolaiv region, searching for air defense systems, the enemy fired Kh-31 missile from a Su-35 aircraft on the territory of Bashtanka district. Nobody was injured. Man, these guys are just losers. In Katsurb community of Mykolaiv region, the enemy fired Grad MLRS, that's a Soviet style old. Nobody was injured. Again, whew, man, can you believe that? Those guys are just using ammunition for nothing. Over the past day, the Russians continued shelling the recent liberated territories of Kherson region. In the area of Nova Kamyanka, the enemy launched 4 airstrike S-300 missiles were fired at Zolota Balka, damaging a school. People were not injured. I mean, really. The enemy also launched Lancet combat drone attacks. In Novoskresenske, an open surface was hit. In Chervone, a kamikaze drone was shot down on approach to the target. The Russian used Uragan MLRS to attack Nikopol district twice. In 2 communities, Mirove and Marhanets, a private sector was hit, damaging houses. No casualties were reported. Jesus Christ, no people in Ukraine anymore, maybe. Maybe they killed all of them, that's why. As noted, the Air Force of the Armed Forces of Ukraine launched 8 strikes, 2 on strongholds, 4 on air defense systems, 2 on enemy equipment clusters. More than 180 fire missions were performed by missile and artillery units. The confirmed losses of the enemies are 32 personnel, a Strela, surface-to-air missile systems, a tank, 2 howitzers, 8 armored vehicles, and an ammunition depot in Borislav district. According to the updated information, significant fuel reserves of the occupiers were destroyed in Hola, Pristan, and on Sunday night. And I'm quoting, in the Black Sea, 7 ships of the enemy fleet are on duty, maneuvering off the coast of Crimea. Among them, there is 1 large landing ship, but no missile carriers have been spotted, the Operational Command South said. So 1 landing ship. How about the other 4? I know there were 5 at one point. And these guys here, they said there's no missile carriers have been spotted. I read an article yesterday morning, I think it was, from the Ukrainians, and they said, well, there's no missile carriers carrying ships in the Black Sea. I said, really? Okay. And then in the evening, I found out there were like 3 around the coast of, in the Black Sea I'm talking. Now there's none again, but it's a landing ship. All these maneuvers, I know that at one point about, I don't know, 3 months ago, I think about 3 months ago, the Russians had in the Black Sea by Sevastopol, in the area over there, five landing ships. And they were all scared. That was before the so-called safe grain corridor was instituted and agreed upon between the Russians, the Turks, and the Russians, Ukrainians, Russians, Turks, under the watchful eyes of the Erdogan, the president of Turkey, and United Nations. Anyway, I do not understand where are those ships going all the time. Sometimes you have 13 ships, 13 ships were in the Mediterranean, but about 7 or 6 in the Black Sea constantly. I haven't heard anything in the past, I don't know, maybe month and a half about the submarines. There are submarines over there with missiles ready. Haven't heard anything. It's like they disappeared. And there's the submarines and then the Calibre missiles. Maybe 2 days ago, not yesterday, the day before, I read another article where it says that they have, I made a video on the Russian ships in the Black Sea, Mediterranean, and in the Sea of Azov. And they were they said exactly was 20 ships. It was more than 20 because there were 13 in the Mediterranean. Yes, and there were 7 in the whole. So there were 20 with, I don't know, 30 some Calibre missiles and all that. Now there's none. But I didn't hear any massive bombardment coming from the Black Sea. And this information came from the Ukrainians. It didn't come from the Russians. So how come in 3 days from about 30 Calibre missile carriers, ships in the Black Sea, 7, 13 in the Mediterranean, you end up to nothing yesterday morning, then you end up to 3 yesterday in the afternoon, and again to nothing right now. What's going on over there? Is that a Bermuda Triangle or something? They come and go whenever, whomever wants? I don't understand this, but I don't understand. Probably these guys lie as they all do. But anyway, the offensive, as I said, are in 3 areas. It's Advivka, Bakhmut, and the other one, Novopavlinka. And none of those are in this area. They hold the front here. This is where the route to Crimea is, and I guess the Russians will never allow that to be broken, that front. If I don't even imagine Crimea being lost. I don't think any Ukrainian boot will be in Crimea ever. I think that's a red line of an atomic use. If they lose in conventional war and the Ukrainians are heading towards Crimea, I think the Russians will give an ultimatum. They will not allow a Ukrainian soldier boot to be in Crimea. But hey, I don't think that's going to happen. But if they allow us to stay alive by then, we will figure things out. Right? Right. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.